Sagittarius, have you ever heard a very familiar voice, as if from the other side, whisper your name? A loved one who seemed to have gone, in truth, never left. Today they return, placing in your hands a sacred warning and an invitation to step into the truth. In this video, I will guide you through an astrological and spiritual map so you can see clearly why the year 2025 is the time when your family's secret must be brought to light. And more importantly, the sacred role of you, Sagittarius, as the torch that illuminates truth for your entire lineage. And when the sky opens, the energetic window of 2025, under the influence of Pluto in Aquarius and the blessings of Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, what once was covered will tend to move toward the light. Write this down. I am ready to open the sacred truth within my family. This is not only a commitment, it is a way to connect directly with the energy of the universe and with your own calling, Sagittarius. But why you, Sagittarius? Why would the soul of a departed loved one choose you as the receiver of the message? The answer lies in the mysterious qualities that only Sagittarius carries. There is one thing I have realized over more than half a century of studying astrology. Not everyone is born ready to face the truth. People often fear the truth because it can collapse what we have grown used to. But Sagittarius is different. From the moment they cry out for the first time, an arrow is planted in their heart. That arrow always points toward the light, even when those around them only want to turn away. I have met many Sagittarians in very different circumstances. A teacher, a simple farmer, someone who once served time, a pastor in a small church in the American countryside. What I always see in them is a refusal to tolerate falsehood. They can forgive mistakes, but they never accept concealment. When I say Sagittarius bears the flame of truth, I am not being poetic. I have witnessed it in life. A Sagittarius woman in Texas once told me that, from childhood, she felt an invisible pressure in her family, as if there was something no one wanted to mention. She dreamed that her late grandfather appeared and said, "Truth must be brought to light before it shatters the next generation." A few years later, just as she had sensed, the hidden story of a quiet debt surfaced. Not to indict anyone, but so the family could exhale for the first time. She, the Sagittarius woman, patiently loosened each knot, one by one. And she told me, "We don't fear truth. We only fear not having enough love to receive it." I believe this is what makes Sagittarius exceptional. They do not see truth only with the mind. They feel the truth with the heart. For Sagittarius, truth is not a blade to cut others. It is a torch. And a torch is meant to illuminate, not to burn. Many people ask me, why can't other signs do what Sagittarius does? My answer is, every sign has its own gift. But Sagittarius is entrusted with a different duty. They are riders on an endless journey. Their symbol, half human, half horse, the arrow pointing to the sky, is the proof. Part of them belongs to the earth, to family, society, and its rules. But another part always belongs to the heavens, to the search for justice, truth, and the light of God. From that story, I draw a lesson that anyone, not only Sagittarius, should remember. When one person dares to touch the truth, the family's history changes course. No longer a chain of unconscious repetition, but a new orbit in which the children learn to trust the light. Do you see it? What your family hides may not be a mere mistake. It may be a wound passed down through generations. If no one faces it, it will keep seeping into every meal, every conversation, every dream. And then it becomes darkness, silently corroding everyone. Only when someone stands up, a Sagittarius, can the light enter. You are not afraid of the dark, because in your heart an arrow has always aimed toward the light. When I write this, I think of every Sagittarius I have met. Wherever they live, whatever they do, whether rich or poor, their eyes carry a particular light. It does not come from possessions or status. It comes from the courage to step into forbidden ground. And now I want to ask you, Sagittarius, listening at this moment. Have you ever been the first person in your family to speak the truth? If you have, share it beneath this video. Your story may be the key that unlocks courage for another Sagittarius somewhere else in the world, right now. Write this. I am ready to kindle truth within my family. This comment is not a small act. It is a resonance, a declaration sent straight to the heavens. But do you wonder, why do dreams, intuitions, even the call of a departed loved one, come to Sagittarius more than to anyone else? Could it be that Sagittarius is not only the bearer of the torch of truth, but also a messenger for souls? I will tell you in the next part. Truth and faith, the way Sagittarius connects with religious belief in America. In small churches, Sagittarius often bears witness, not to condemn, but to say, God sees everything. Truth and faith are never separate. Sagittarius and family, the place where courage is tested. Family is a closed circle, hard to break. But Sagittarius is the arrow that pierces through that circle to open a new path. Sometimes, the truth you speak makes you seem like a traitor, but in fact, you are being loyal to something greater, the light. Truth is like a fire passed from generation to generation. From hidden finances to unspoken memories of war, many American families have found healing because one person dared to speak. Sagittarius is the embodiment of that spirit. And this is only the first portrait of you, Sagittarius, the rider of truth. But truth does not stop at facing the family. It is bound to collective destiny, to the year 2025, when the sky will tremble so secrets have nowhere left to hide. And in the next part, I will show you why, in that very year, Pluto and Jupiter open the gateway of fate for Sagittarius. And now I will show you why it is in that very year that Pluto and Jupiter will open the gateway of destiny for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, perhaps you have looked up at the night sky in silence and asked yourself, could those stars be holding a secret about my life? Through many years of listening and studying astrology, I have realized this. The heavens have never been silent. They are always whispering, sometimes in slow movements, sometimes in the fierce turn of planets. In 2025, the sky will not only whisper, it will open a strong tendency toward clarity. Pluto will continue to unearth what lies beneath, while Jupiter encourages us to open, to receive, and to transform. Not as something forced to happen, but as an opportunity for truth to move closer to us. Why you? Why that year? The answer lies in the two most powerful planets when it comes to truth and expansion, Pluto and Jupiter. In astrology, Pluto, the lord of the underworld, is known as the planet of death and rebirth. It does not bring physical death. It brings the end of what is false, what has decayed within, so that new life can emerge. When Pluto moves into Aquarius, the sign of the collective, of community, of shared truth, then secrets have no place to hide. I often tell my students this. Pluto does not destroy to annihilate. Pluto destroys so that we are forced to live in truth. And you, Sagittarius, will feel this more than anyone, because your arrow has always pointed toward truth. But when Pluto enters Aquarius in 2025, you will not only see the truth of yourself or your family, you will feel compelled to see the truth of a community, of a collective. If Pluto is the fire that burns away all deceit, then Jupiter, your ruling planet, is the doorway that opens after the fire. Jupiter is faith, it is hope, it is expansion. In Scripture, the light of God never comes to shine for one alone, it shines for the flock. Jupiter carries that very spirit. And in 2025, Jupiter will be in a special position, as if walking beside you, giving you strength. After Pluto forces you to face truth, Jupiter opens the path so you can use that truth as power, not as a burden. I believe no Sagittarius is born merely to collapse under pain. You are born to turn pain into teaching, to turn truth into a torch that lights the way for others. Many have asked me, is there ever a time when truth should remain hidden forever? And I often answer with my own experience. I once witnessed a family in California where a young Sagittarius girl grew up. In that family, there was a secret about her father. They had hidden it for 20 years, thinking that in silence they were protecting the children. But then Pluto moved into its critical position, Jupiter shed light, and the truth erupted. The family wept. They hurt. But then the young Sagittarius girl said, I would rather know a painful truth than live my whole life in a sweet lie. That sentence changed the entire reading that day. It carved itself into my heart, teaching me that in this universe, truth is never buried forever. It only waits for a strong enough moment to emerge. And that moment, that gateway, is 2025, meant for you, Sagittarius. Perhaps you are afraid. You may be asking, if the secret is revealed, will my family fall apart? Do I have the strength to carry the truth? I want you to take a deep breath and remember this. Truth never comes to destroy. Truth comes to set free. Like a wound, if we keep it bandaged and never clean it, it will fester. But when we dare to open it, to endure the pain once, then true healing begins. Pluto is like the surgeon's hand removing the bandage so the wound can be seen. Jupiter is the morning light, drying it and helping it heal. There is one image that always returns to me when I speak of Sagittarius. A rider holding a bow, standing in the middle of a vast dark night. Ahead lies a forest, danger, things no one dares to touch. But you, Sagittarius, you still raise your bow, and your arrow still aims straight at the light on the horizon. You do not seek truth for yourself alone. You are the one who opens the way so that those who follow will know darkness is not a refuge, but a place that must be lit. And now I want to ask you, not just as a listener, but as a soul walking beside me. Do you believe that truth, even when painful, is always the path to freedom? Leave your answer in the comments. Write this: I believe truth will set my soul free. Each word you write will be like a candle, shining in the community of Sagittarians across the world. But this is only the beginning, Sagittarius. For Pluto and Jupiter will not only uncover your family's secret, they are also opening a greater door, a door connected to the mission you carry for humanity itself. What will happen when the secret is revealed? What role will Sagittarius step into within the community? And why are you chosen to be the torchbearer of justice? For Sagittarius, truth and faith are not separate. It is at their meeting point that Americans often find the language to name what the eyes cannot see. In America, I have often heard words of prayer at funerals. Death is not the end, it is the beginning of eternal life. This belief allows people to look at death not with despair, but with hope, that the soul of their loved one is still there, still watching every step they take. They believe there is a bridge connecting two worlds, the world of the living and the world of souls. And sometimes that bridge trembles, leaving behind a sign to let us know someone is trying to send us a message. Have you ever felt that, Sagittarius? A whisper in a dream, an invisible hand resting on your shoulder, a strange cold breeze slipping into the room. None of it is random. It is how a departed loved one returns, to warn, to guide, or to place into your hands a sacred message. In the small churches of the American South, people believe that souls sometimes return through dreams, through the soft ringing of a wind chime in the night, or through numbers repeating again and again on the clock. I once met an old pastor in Georgia. He told me his wife had passed many years ago, but whenever he strayed from his path of faith, a strange sign would appear, a rose blooming out of season in the garden, or the sound of a hymn drifting from nowhere. For him, these were not coincidences. They were reminders from his departed wife. Return to the light. This belief is deeply familiar to you, Sagittarius, because you are a traveler between worlds, always longing to push beyond limits. And within you, there is always a spiritual doorway open, ready to receive the whispers of the unseen. I still remember clearly a chart reading in New Mexico. Before me sat a Sagittarius woman. Her eyes were deep, strong, yet carrying unease. She told me that for many nights she dreamed of her grandmother, standing silently at the doorway. The grandmother said nothing, only placed her hand on her chest, then vanished. At first, she thought it was just longing turned into dreams. But as the dreams repeated, clearer each time, she could no longer dismiss them. When I cast her chart, I saw Pluto moving into a decisive place, and Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, opening a gateway of destiny. I told her, this is not just a dream. This is a message. And a year later, her family uncovered a piece of land that had been hidden for many years. Strangely, that land was exactly where her grandmother had spent her whole life. And the detail of the hand placed on the chest in her dream matched the truth in a way that defied coincidence. When the secret was revealed, the family felt both pain and release. And the young Sagittarius woman understood. Her grandmother had returned not to frighten her, but to place into her hand the key to unlock the truth. From that experience, I grew even more certain. Sagittarius carries within them the role of the messenger, not only for the living, but also for the souls. In astrology, Sagittarius is tied to the 9th house, the house of religion, philosophy, and connection to sacred values. This explains why Sagittarius can sense invisible messages that others pass by. When a soul wishes to send a warning, they need someone with a heart open wide, courageous, and faithful to truth. And among the 12 signs, none is more fitting than Sagittarius. You are the bow. The message of the soul is the arrow. Once it is loosed, it strikes directly into the heart of those who must hear the truth. Many believe that when a loved one dies, love ends. But after decades of listening to these stories, I have learned one thing. Love has no borders. The soul of a loved one returns not to haunt, not to instill fear. They return out of love. They return because they want to see you walking in the light, not lost in the shadows of what is hidden. And the lesson for you, Sagittarius, is this. Do not dismiss the signs as random. Open your heart, listen. Because perhaps in the dream you had just last night, you were given a message powerful enough to alter your destiny. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. A loved one you cherished most, now gone, stands before you. They say nothing. They simply place into your hand a key made of light. You know that key will open a door. Behind that door is truth. It may be painful, but it must be revealed. Your loved one does not return to frighten you. They return to hand you the key that unlocks truth. Let this line reach your heart, because it is not only an image, it is a calling speaking your name, Sagittarius. Now I want to ask you, have you ever dreamed of a loved one who has passed? And in that dream, did they send you a message? Share your story in the comments. Do not hold back, because perhaps your story will become the light for another Sagittarius, somewhere far away, struggling with their own dreams. And write this. I open my heart to receive the message from the souls who love me. When you write this, it is not just words on a screen. It is a declaration to the universe that you are ready to become the rider of light, ready to hold the key handed to you by the soul of your loved one. Let me tell you a few more real stories, so you can see that this is not rare at all. In Texas, a young Sagittarius man told me he often heard the sound of his father's guitar. His father long passed away, playing in the living room on nights when he thought of dropping out of school. For him, it was his father's way of saying, do not give up your dream. In Ohio, a Sagittarius woman kept dreaming of her mother, pointing toward the kitchen cabinet. Finally, while cleaning, she found her mother's old journal, revealing a secret the family had never known. That very journal freed her from decades of misunderstanding. And in California, I once met a Sagittarius boy who had lost his father. In every dream, his father told him, live honestly, do not hide your feelings. Later, the boy became a writer, and his works always made readers weep, for they carried bare truth, wrapped in deep humanity. These stories show us Sagittarius is a channel of transmission. Souls find their way to you not by accident, but because you are strong enough to carry their message into the light. But Sagittarius, this is only the beginning. When you hold the key handed to you by the soul of your loved one, you stand at a great crossroads. Will you use the truth to protect yourself, or will you use it to bring light to your family, to your community? And why, in 2025, will not just one, but perhaps many secrets be revealed at once? What role will you take when the sky itself insists that justice be unveiled? Sagittarius, let me tell you something slowly, clearly. Justice is not only in the courtroom. Often it begins in the kitchen at night, where someone finally dares to speak one honest sentence after years of silence. In more than 50 years of studying astrology, I have seen one truth. Every chart carries a sacred house, the 9th house. And the 9th house is your dwelling, Sagittarius. It is the house of philosophy, of law, of ultimate truth and justice. That is why, whenever a family tries to hide something, you cannot remain silent. Your heart rings like a bell, and that bell tolls not only for you, but for your lineage and for the community around you. Look at your symbol. A rider raising the bow. The arrow does not point to the ground. It points upward, to the heavens, toward the supreme light. In astrology, this means Sagittarius is not born to live an ordinary life. You are born to search for higher truth, to stand with justice, even when everyone else turns away. Pluto may bring revelation. Jupiter, your ruling planet, may open the door of hope. But only you can lift the torch to hold the light. If you do not raise it high, the darkness will consume everything. I remember once in Ohio, I met a family hiding many secrets. Among them was a Sagittarius man. He knew his father had made a grave mistake in the past, and the whole family chose to cover it up. For years he lived in torment, One part of him wanted peace, another could not bear the burden. Then one night, as Pluto shifted into power, he dreamed of his father. His father said nothing much, only looked at him and said, "Let the light in." The next day, he spoke to his family. At first, they resisted, but slowly the truth was accepted. Tears fell. There was blame, there was sorrow, but afterward, there was release. He told me, "Justice did not break my family apart. It brought us closer together, because at last there was nothing left to hide." And he added, "I realized Sagittarius does not only want to know the truth. Sagittarius must live with it, even when it is not easy." This is the lesson I want to give you. Sagittarius, justice is not always a verdict. Often, justice is simply daring to tell the truth, and daring to live with it. In society, we think of justice as law courts, judges, lawyers. But in life, justice often begins smaller. It begins in the moment you face the truth inside your own home, inside your own heart. A family can hide, a community can turn away. But if one person stands up, justice is already lit. And that person is often you, Sagittarius. When first learning to walk, Sagittarius says, "I want to know." When grown steady, Sagittarius whispers, "I choose to live with what I know." That second choice, that is the threshold of spiritual maturity. There lies the difference. Knowing truth may be easy, but living with truth, letting it guide you, accepting its losses, its wounds, that is true courage. And when you say that, Sagittarius, the universe knows you are ready to carry the torch of justice. Picture this. In a village sunk in darkness, one person stands and lifts the torch. They may be mocked, they may be called a troublemaker, but that torch allows others to see the path. The torch does not belong to the one who carries it. It belongs to all who are lost. You, Sagittarius, you are that one. The torch in your hand does not shine for you alone. It shines for your family. It shines for your community. If you feel these words carry meaning, if you believe justice begins with us, then leave a sign. Like this video, share it, so this positive energy may spread further. And write this: I am ready to hold the torch of justice in my own hands. Because when you write this, you are not only declaring to others, you are speaking to the universe itself, telling it that you are ready for the light of truth to flow through your heart. To show you more clearly, let me share a few stories I have witnessed. A young Sagittarius girl in California knew her brother was hiding his addiction from the family. Everyone stayed silent, afraid of losing face, but she decided to speak. She was blamed, even called a traitor. Yet because of her courage, her brother was sent to treatment. Today, he is a devoted father. She told me, "If I had stayed silent, I would have killed my brother. By speaking the truth, I saved him." A Sagittarius man in Florida discovered fraud in the company where he worked. At first, he feared losing his job, but then he remembered a dream of his father, the man who once told him, "Live honestly." He decided to expose it. He lost his job, but was later hired by an organization that valued integrity. He said, "Justice did not give me the easy road, but it gave me peace." A Sagittarius mother in New York saw her son bullied at school. At first, she wanted to stay silent, to keep peace. But then she remembered, Sagittarius never turns away from truth. She fought back, not only for her son, but for many children. Later, the school changed its policies, protecting students better. She said, "I realized justice didn't just save my family, it saved other families too." These stories show us, when Sagittarius carries the torch of justice, its light never stops with them, it spreads. And from it all, I want to leave you with one lesson. Justice is not something far away. It begins with a heart that dares to be true, a voice that dares to rise, a light that dares to be lit. You, Sagittarius, were born to be that light. But Sagittarius, this is not the end. To carry the torch of justice is only one part of your calling. When you stand up for truth, something deeper awakens in your soul. There is another sacred gift, a spiritual weapon no enemy can touch, waiting for you to discover. And that is what I will lead you to next. Perhaps you have thought that what happens in your family should remain within four walls, that it is private, no one outside needs to know. But the universe says otherwise. The universe shows us one unchanging law. Light never stays where it is lit. When a family's secret is revealed, it does not only free those inside, it sends a message outward that darkness cannot last forever, that truth always finds its way. And you, Sagittarius, are the rider whose arrow pierces beyond personal borders, carrying that light to the community. In working with thousands of charts, I have seen this. Every truth has two lives. The first life, it frees the person and the family. The second life, it becomes a lesson for the community. I once knew a Sagittarius woman in Texas. She dared to speak out about domestic violence in her family, long hidden by her relatives. At first, she was branded a betrayer, but over time, her story became strength. Other women came to her, saying her courage gave them the power to break their own silence. She told me, "I didn't want to be a hero. I just wanted to live honestly." But I realized, by living honestly, I gave others a mirror. Here's the greater lesson for you, Sagittarius. When you stand for truth in your family, you are not only saving yourself, you are teaching society what courage looks like. Astrologically, Sagittarius belongs to the 9th house, not only the house of philosophy, but also of expansion. What you do never stays small, it spreads. Each step you take, each word you speak, carries the potential to light the way for others. The justice you defend does not belong only to your family, it becomes part of the justice of humanity. Every truth you reveal is a flame you ignite for the next generation. Imagine this, when you dare to live truthfully today, some child in your family, or even in your community, will grow up believing truth is not to be feared. They will grow up knowing that light can always drive out darkness. The light you kindle today may illuminate steps not yet born tomorrow. And that is the mission of humanity entrusted to Sagittarius. Let me tell you one more story, this time of a Sagittarius man in New York. His family once concealed the wrongful conviction of a relative many years ago. They stayed silent to preserve honor. But he could not bear it. He decided to search the records, to face the law, to bring truth into the open. At first, his family resisted, but when justice was finally served, not only was his family freed, the story was reported in the press, inspiring other families also trapped in injustice to stand up and fight. He told me, "I thought I was doing something only for my father, but it turned out I contributed in a small way to awakening society." That story convinced me. Sagittarius is the sign whose personal action always carries a collective resonance. And now I want you to ask yourself, do you believe your personal truth can become light for the community? If your answer is yes, share that belief in the comments. Write this, "I believe my truth will help set others free." And if these words resonate with you, like this video, share it. Each action will be a candle passed forward, so more may be guided. In astrology, Sagittarius is never confined to small borders. You belong to long roads, wide horizons, journeys that cross continents. And so it is with your mission of justice. The truth you reveal today may cross borders, becoming inspiration for someone on the other side of the world. Sagittarius is a global messenger. You are not fighting only for your family. You are teaching humanity that no darkness is strong enough to hide the light forever. I often picture truth as a river. You may block it with a dam, hold it back for a time, but eventually it will find a way. And when it flows, it does not only wash away what is rotten, it brings new life to the fields that had long been dry. For you, Sagittarius, truth is not something simply to be known, it is something to be lived. And when you live in truth, you transform your life into a river that nourishes others. From all of this, the human lesson I want to offer you is this. Each person has their own truth. But when you are brave enough to reveal it, that truth no longer belongs to you alone. It becomes a spiritual inheritance for humanity. And this is why, Sagittarius, you are not just an individual seeking light. You are the torch, the rider, the messenger, carrying that light into the world. But, Sagittarius, light is not only for uncovering truth. It is also to awaken another sacred talent within you, a spiritual weapon before which even darkness must retreat. So what is this gift? How can you activate it, not only to live for yourself, but to live for the sacred mission entrusted to you by God and the universe? Sagittarius, you have walked with me on a long journey. From family secrets, to messages from departed loved ones, to the light of justice, and then to the great mission you carry for all humanity. I know not everything I have spoken is easy to hear. Truth sometimes makes the heart heavy, the eyes wet. But the very moment you find the courage to listen, you have already taken another step into maturity. And I want to tell you this, from the depths of my heart, Thank you. Thank you for staying with me until this moment. Thank you for opening your heart to receive, and thank you for daring to believe that the light still remains. But this is not the end. What you have heard today is only the first doorway. Behind it, another secret waits, another sacred talent ready to be awakened. I promise you, in the next part, I will lead you deeper into the spiritual weapon before which even darkness must bow. If you are ready, walk with me to the very end of this path. And now I want you to act, because action is how we turn energy into reality. Write this in the comments. I am ready to step through the sacred doorway and live my mission. Remember, this is not just a commitment. It is a signal sent straight to the universe, declaring that you are ready. If this journey has touched your heart, like this video, share it so the light may spread to more souls. Every share may be the small flame that lights the path for someone lost in the dark. Once more, from my heart to yours, thank you, Sagittarius. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for daring to seek truth. And thank you for rising, not only for your family, but for all humanity. Hold the torch of justice in your hand, live truly in your light, and always remember, you are not alone. You are part of the great mission written in the heavens.